I need to call my mama. A young Black woman in our study on Black partisan behavior was dealing with a challenging decision. Should she donate the grant money we have offered her to support candidate efforts to the Obama Political Action Committee, or should she give her grant money to the Romney PAC so she could pocket a monetary incentive, $10 for herself? That's right. Our experimental design was attempting to challenge the longtime partisan loyalty of African Americans to the Democratic Party. We assigned participants to one of three scenarios where they were told that we were scholars working with an organization that received grant money that could be used towards supporting one of the two major candidates. Here is the scenarios. If assigned Group A, you were asked to make this decision without an incentive. In Group B, you were asked to make this decision, but that every $10 of grant money given to the Romney PAC you would receive $1. Group C was told the same as Group B, except in addition to the incentive, they were told that we would need to publicly announce all donations in the student newspaper at a historically Black university. It is in Group C that this young woman had found herself, struggling to decide if it is worth it to take the money and in turn provide support for the opponent for the first Black president that is the leader of the Democratic Party and have it be known by her Black peers. She did in the moment what anyone faced with a difficult decision would do. She called her Black mother. When her mother came on the phone, I told her about our study and what her daughter was deciding on. I watched as mother and daughter weighed the pros and cons of the decision. Finally, the young lady turned to me and said, I only want to donate $50 to Romney, the other $50 to Obama, and I will take $5. In making this choice, she made sure that her donations were a wash and that she was still left with some money in her pocket. But why was this such a struggle for her? And why did she worry so much about what she should do? Why would she call her mama to help her decide what she should do? And why did she make sure her decision resulted in a wash? All of this speaks directly to how partisan loyalty operates in the Black community. My co-author and I asked this question in our book, Steadfast Democrats: How are Black Americans able to maintain Democratic Party support over the last 50 years with increasing economic and political diversity? Within the group, we argue that Black support for the Democratic Party was consolidated in the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement and became a norm of Black political behavior. Essentially, to be Black is to be Democrat. The maintenance of the group behavior occurs through social networks and relationships. Black partisan loyalty is not a happenstance behavior or some sheep-like herd mentality. It is a strategic political decision by Black people to leverage their power as a political group. In the 2020 election, the power of the Black electorate served as one of the major determining factors for both the selection of the Democratic Party nominee and the election of Joe Biden to the presidency. In the absence of group solidarity, there is no such power across the two political parties. Social networks make this collective strategy a reality. African Americans have a long history of collective action to deal with the issues that have often faced the group based on their marginalized status. The young Black woman calling her mama was a Black person seeking approval from a close social tie to do something that most Black people know is going to come with great social cost: stepping away from the Democratic Party norm. She did this with grace and thoughtfulness. She demonstrated what so many Black people have understood about how to operate in the two-party system. To ensure that the group can have a voice, they must act as one to effectively leverage their power. If they can't, then they should do the best that they can to mitigate the damage of giving their support to the Republican Party, or find themselves on the outside of the group looking in.